Hi, I'm Nitish Bharadwaj and you're watching Bollywood Hungama.
It's a huge privilege and honor to have with us Mr. Nitish Bharadwaj. Everyone, the world knows him as Shri Krishna from Mahabharat, that is B.R. Chopra's Mahabharat, but something else that people right now say that he's making a comeback of sorts with Ashutosh Gowariker's Mohenjo Daro, where he's playing Durjan, that is Hrithik, Roshan's uncle. Nitish ji, first of all, pleasure having you back on Bollywood Hungama.
Thank you.
It's a huge honor. I was telling you, my mother is a huge fan of yours, has always been. We used to watch Mahabharat religiously every Sunday, and my mother used to make notes of various characters, and she was especially impressed by the way you enacted Krishna. So how tough is it for you to just keep on being referred to that one character that you played in your life like 75 years back?
I'm used to it. But in my heart, I always tell myself, every time anyone praises me for my performance, I, in my heart, say thank you to Mr. B.R. Chopra, thank you to Mr. Raza
With the dialogues and
for the dialogues, and Pandit Narendra Sharma for the screenplay. You know, without the screenplay dialogues and vision of Chopra Saab, that wouldn't have been possible.
Right.
They were masters of their craft.
In fact, Shri Krishna की मेहरबानी आप पे बहुत ज़्यादा in fact रही है, because it has surely in fact in a way what some would say that has been like a bane as well, because that every role that you did after that was compared to that. But at the same time that wherever you go, people just open their arms and just folded hands आपको अपने घर में बुला लेते होंगे हर तरीके से. You saw how people reacted in the office right now as well.
What that goes to show is the intrinsic faith of this land.
Right.
Once people love you, they love you, and they accept you, and they trust you, which is so difficult to get in modern times.
Right.
You know, people's trust, to achieve that is so difficult today. So difficult. All you hear around you is deceit and cheating and distrust. You know, so trust is a very valued virtue, which I suppose God has been kind to bestow upon me.
Absolutely. I think your smile must have been a big reason in getting you the role, because
That can be deceptive.
it can be deceptive. Or that naughtiness that Shri Krishna has. Okay, so talking about Durjan now. You're playing this uncle of Hrithik Roshan, who just gradually unravels the various secrets to Hrithik Roshan's characters, and that is Sarma. You have a history with Ashutosh Gowariker as well. You are friends with him for the last 30 years. You guys struggled together.
Yes,
and
we
you used
did.
to have after the great struggle, you guys used to hang out at Ravi Baswani's place.
That's right. Ravi Bhai used to be like, Ravi Baswani was like our elder brother, come guide, because he had just got his Filmfare for Jaane Bhi To Yaro. And Ravi actually got me from Marathi theatre to Hindi theatre.
Right.
Because I used to do Marathi theatre with Sai Paranjpe. She launched me in Marathi theatre with her daughter Dini. And he said, you've got the potential, you want to limit yourself to Marathi? I said, no, that's not the intention. He said, then come to Hindi theatre. And he took me to Dinesh Thakur, and 3 years I did Hindi theatre. I breathed Hindi theatre, and that was a fabulous experience for me. And so the credit for my being in Hindi goes to Ravi Baswani. And a lot of people, including Irfan Khan, you know, we all used to hang out together in the evenings. I met Irfan there at Ravi's house and got to know him, and I cast him in my production which I directed, a huge TV serial called Geeta Rahasya. So I cast him as Kans in that. So Ravi's house used to be like one powerhouse of talent, and he used to identify young talented people. I'm not complimenting myself, with due modesty I'm saying, because all the people around there used to be talented, and Ashu also used to be there, and we used to hang out together in the evenings and talk about a lot of things, and theatre and all sorts of things. I mean, Badal Sarkar to Pagla Ghoda to Ibsen to Arthur Miller to everything, and cinema we would talk about, and it was a good learning process. So yes, Ashu and me, we go back to 1985 as friends. But this is the first time he's cast me. He found a worthy role, that's what he told me. Because even for Jodha Akbar, we had met socially, and we said, I want to work with you, Nitish, but there's not a role where I can feel that you can add value. And it's worthy of you coming on screen. But obviously what will happen is when I come on screen, the people will expect certain amount of performance.
Sure.
In Mahabharat or Vishnu Purana or whatever serial I did, I was the lead role. So every time I came on screen, there was something definite happening. So that probably is going to happen in Durjan. Because Durjan, as the name suggests, it's Durjan. But I wouldn't like to unravel the mystery, whether he's a positive guy or a negative guy. But he has a shade of grey, and he doesn't expose the secret to Hrithik's character. No, it gets exposed. But he has history. Why is he an indigo farmer? There's a history to it.
Sure.
Why is Hrithik's character an orphan? There is a history to it. And the mystery is known only to Durjan. And he's kept it away from him and the rest of the lot in the village. And when it's exposed, the entire film goes in a different zone and it gets a purpose. It gets a purpose. Yet he is an emotional man too. He's an emotional man too. So probably I would say this journey is going to be for me, for accepting this role, is a journey from immortal to mortal characters.
Fabulous. Okay, so in terms of screen time, how pivotal is your role? How do you say?
Well, there are lots of characters and it's a huge, humongous production.
Right.
So I wouldn't go by the screen time, but yes, it's an important character. It's quite lengthy. Yeah. He has screen presence and definite scenes.
Right. Okay, it is, in fact, it is being said that, that you're making a comeback of sorts, but you don't agree because
I don't agree.
You've been doing great radio shows. You've directed, I think, Marathi film.
That's right.
Faridoon.
That's right.
And you co-authored a spiritual book as well.
Yes.
So
I'm doing theatre as well.
Right.
That theatrical play is still going on. It's called Chakraview, and we are heading very soon for the 50th show. And Faridoon took a lot of my time because when you direct and you're making your directorial debut, you want to be sure that it better be a good film. It should reflect me as a director who can handle complex subjects. So finding that kind of a story, I was fortunate to find a short story by Sudha Murthy, the chairperson of Infosys Foundation, and a very emotional story. It's a failed love story of a 70-year-old woman. And her only agony in life is whether I'm going to die as a dumped woman. So there is a background story to it as well. And her son and another archaeology professor, they are lookalikes. So the archaeology professor bumps into that her son, and the whole thing starts in his mind. Who was her man? Who was her husband? And then the mystery gets revealed.
Sure.
So very emotional, yet nice subject, family kind of a subject,
Sure.
musical.
Absolutely.
Musical.
In fact, we come to the entire Marathi revival that is happening. I think which is I think a huge phenomenon which is taking place right now. We'll talk about that shortly. But coming back to the movie, you said that Ashutosh took a bold decision to cast me in this mysterious role. It's not a straight role. He told me that he wants to work with me, but he's in search for something substantial for me. He saw that opportunity in Durjan, and I'm thankful to him.
Yes.
So why is it mysterious?
Because he's kept the mystery away from everybody, including Hrithik. I can't tell you the mystery today. I know, I can see the expectant look in your eyes. Very soon we'll see it.
I wouldn't want to spoil that.
No, I wouldn't want to spoil that for the audiences because it's a very nice background story, even for Durjan.
Sure.
And that makes Durjan's character very human. And it was important for me to perform something human now. In that zone of gods and Vishnu, Mahavishnu, I think whatever I had to perform right from Matsya Avatar to Krishna, I've done it all. Including Parshuram and Dwarf Vaman and Narsingh and everything. Ram, which is Maryada Purushottam. So within that zone I have done my bit. And now I'm ready for human emotions and human life.
Great. You also said that what I admire as a professional in Ashutosh is how meticulously he works. For a period, a good filmmaker undergoes deep research, in-depth knowledge, getting materials, talking to experts, understanding all the aspects right from the atmosphere, the surroundings, props, wardrobe, architecture, and having the penchant of doing it.
Yes.
So
It's important.
Absolutely, I'm sure it must be. Would like to elaborate on that?
Yeah, it's like
for a long time as well.
sorry.
Since you've known him for a long time.
I mean, I remember Ashu.
He used to be like a very chulbula sort of person.
Very.
His serials, early serials.
Yes, I mean, what is early serial? You would say early serial is probably CID?
Not CID. There was another serial which I'm forgetting the name right now, but there was something I'm forgetting the name right now.
I don't remember the name of the serial, but the earlier-most serial I remember was being shot by a director, very talented director called Mainak Trivedi.
Okay.
And Ashu's character was a robotic character there. So every evening he would come and say, Nitish, मैं ऐसे करने वाला हूँ और ऐसे डायलॉग बोलूँगा and he would try to give different dimensions to that character which was robotic, so the emotions, his voice, and he learned breakdowns for that. So that's the Ashu I knew.
Sure.
And then I
saw if you see that the sort of, in fact, he was literally bullying Shah Rukh all the time. It's not exactly the same persona that we know Ashutosh now.
Yeah.
He's more studied and he's more thoughtful and he thinks of his things.
Yeah, he's mature.
Sure, absolutely.
But having said that, I feel it's very important for a maker to undergo the process that he does, because I can identify with that, because in Gita Rahasya I did the same thing. It was a huge production. I didn't want to go by the calendar art, because in mythologicals calendar art is very readily acceptable. It's accepted as the look.
Sure.
Whereas that has been created by other Vivarma's paintings. So I wanted to experiment. So I did my own bit with Indologists and archaeologists, and who've done excavations, oceanographic excavations in Dwarika and Arabian Sea and whatever. So I did all that for that serial. So I know what he's talking about, and it is that kind of meticulous study that a director does makes everybody's life easy.
Absolutely.
And it shows. And it shows. I'm doing it for my next film too. So.
Absolutely. Okay, and you also said about regarding the criticism that has come Mohenjo Daro's way, that the movie is in Hindi and the language spoken during that period is alien to all of us. They have a lipi, which looks like designs or drawings. So imagine the lingo which may sound similar to Sindhi, the civilization being close to Sindh. So a new lingo was created for the film, which has words from Hindi and Sindhi. For example, the song Lak Lak Thoda Thoda, which means thank you very much. This has a Sindhi influence.
Yes.
He concludes. What do you have to say about the criticism that has come?
See,
Ashutosh, in fact, in detail,
I've heard it.
About
yes,
that.
I've heard it.
People, there were certain historians who had told me about that, and I made them watch that, and they were quite satisfied
Yes.
with what he said.
Yes. See, because I'll tell you something. When a maker decides to go for a particular period, he has to look at archaeological excavations. He has to look at what is available in terms of materials, sets, structures which are excavated, artifacts which are excavated. From the artifacts, he tries to see if there are some words written on that. From figurines, he tries to figure out what is the costume style, what are the kind of jewelry that was being used, because it's a reflection of that culture.
Absolutely.
That figurine is a reflection of that culture.
Yes.
So when it comes to Mohenjo Daro, let me rephrase my this. When it comes to Indus Valley civilization, you look at Mohenjo Daro as the site, Harappa, Lothal, Dholavira, these are the sites. And what's available there is a picture that comes across. They used to be very well planned cities. Okay, the town planning which was existing then, even today's big cities don't have it. Right? They were so advanced in terms of town planning. There was a great bath. Ashutosh created a great bath. You can see that in one of the songs where Chani is introduced, and so he has beautifully amalgamated the research material available into his sets. Okay. Then when it comes to costumes, I keep listening to this criticism that they never used to wear clothes or they were half nude. But I don't agree. For two reasons. Number one, Ashu is doing Mohenjo Daro is a populistic commercial Hindi film.
Sure.
He doesn't want to get slotted into a X-rated kind of a film. Obviously not.
Sure.
You know, we are into commercial cinema, so he cannot make people half nude into his film.
Right.
Having said that, if you have seen a very popular bust figurine of a man, of a bearded man, and if you see the robe that is there, he has this kind of a clover shape, big clover shape, artifact motifs on that robe. So I don't understand how people say that they were half nude or they used to be nude. There is a robe on that figurine. That means they did wear clothes. So from this simple foundation or fundamental fact that you found this, now a director has to imagine everything as to how everybody will wear clothes, because there are insufficient references available to him. So from whatever is available, a director is at liberty to imagine and express his vision onto celluloid. Now the language of Harappan Lipi, it's called the Harappan script, is not yet deciphered. So how do we know what words were being used, so obviously because that part, Mohenjo Daro, the word Mohenjo Daro, Mohan is dead, corpse, okay, corpse. So Mohenjo Daro, mound of the dead. It was given later, I agree with that.
Right.
But it's a catchy name.
Right.
Everybody knows that culture or civilization as Harappan or Mohenjo Daro culture. Harappan civilization, Indus Valley civilization, and the prime town there was Mohenjo Daro. Mohenjo Daro, Harappa, that's what we know. So he's wisely and cleverly used the name Mohenjo Daro to attract the audiences and to convey to the audiences that this is the period my movie is set in.
Absolutely.
And the script is not known, not deciphered, so being a part of Sindh and around Sindh area, he's used that flavor of Sindhi language to Hindi. The movie is not in Sindhi, the movie is predominantly 95-96% is Hindi. But there are throws of these words from Sindhi, like Lak Lak Thora, that's what I referred to.
Right.
Like thanks a million, lakh times thank you very much.
Sure.
You know, so which adds that flavor. What should I say? The audio flavor, or it gives the audio identity. Because I believe as a maker that every project, whether it's a TV serial or a film, it must have an audio identity along with a video identity. Like Mahabharat is an ideal example. Roshan people knew it's Mahabharat. That's the audio identity.
Even the song Mahabharat.
Yes, that's the audio identity.
Seriously, yeah.
And so Ashu has done the same thing, followed the same principle very cleverly, intelligently, and very nice. I like it.
Okay, now Nitiji, as I spoke to you earlier as well, that this entire what is happening with Marathi cinema right now, and the way it is being looked upon in a totally different light now with movies like Sairat, the way it has done in terms of box office and having a show at 12 o'clock in the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, and movies like Code, for example, going to Oscars, and Shwas went before that. Killa has come, Nat Samrat with Nana Particle in recent times has been simply outstanding. How do you look at this entire phenomenon? Because what is coming across, that not merely, there are lots of other movies like Dunyadari and Labhari which have done very well in terms of commercially.
I'm happy your research is well done.
No, I'm a huge admirer of this entire this wave actually.
Yes.
The way it is happening, because what I was coming to was that apart from the fact that they are doing commercially well, in terms of the subjects that they are choosing is something which is I think are really progressive, and it's something that is they're saying certain things which, in fact, I spoke to Nagaraj Manjule immediately after Sairat, and he said that I have no such hurry that I'd like to make my next movie in Hindi or anything of that. So
absolutely,
because the way I can express in Marathi, maybe I won't have that luxury and freedom to do that in Hindi cinema.
Okay.
So which is phenomenal in terms of if you can express certain things in Marathi and there is an audience for that.
Yeah.
And there is an acceptance audience for that, be it the progressive thoughts or the caste divisions or anything else apart from that, which is a very interesting thing that is, I think, happening as far as India is concerned.
Yes. So your question to me is that how do I look at it?
Because you've been an exponent yourself for the longest period of time.
Yes, my first
with Marathi.
Yes, my first my Marathi, not only theatre, my cinema as well, because my first feature film as a hero was Marathi feature film.
Right.
I've done 8-9 Marathi feature films.
Right.
So Marathi films or the industry is very close to my heart. I have seen such waves twice before in Marathi cinema.
Okay.
When I was doing Marathi cinema, there was a wave of comedy films doing well.
Correct.
Okay, but where the industry lost out on is they thought comedy अच्छा चल रहा है, so let's do comedy. So everybody started doing comedy, and I feel, in my view, comedy is the most difficult thing to write.
Sure.
And so what happened in the process is that for every one good comedy film, there were 49 bad films.
Oh.
And then pit jati thi. There used to be huge losses. So every time there's a wave in Marathi cinema, people from other industries with money, with bagfuls of money, come to Marathi cinema, Marathi industry, and say, let's make a film. Okay? अब क्या चल रहा है? ये चल रहा है, चलो यही बनाते हैं. Okay? ये हीरो चल रहा है, इसी को लेके बनाते हैं. And they've lost out on taking quantum leaps, which Marathi literature and Marathi cinema is capable of. This is the first time that I am seeing, as you rightly said, good subjects being handled.
Correct.
There is diversity of subjects and innovation of subjects. Shahryar is an innovative way of doing Romeo and Juliet or Hiranja.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay? So the Natasamrat is a classical play. Katyar Kaljat Gushli was a classical musical play that everybody knows about. Okay? So they are looking at different types of genre to be put onto celluloid,
Sure.
which is a welcome thing.
Right.
Now, it's a good thing, this is happening. Now, how is the industry looking at it? There are two types of people who the quantum leap will depend on of Marathi industry. One is the industry people themselves. Whether Marathi directors, writers, producers and distributors are willing to continue with this innovation, or they are going to again go back to that old mistake and do Me Too kind of cinema. Number one. Number two, their responsibility also now is that now that we know Marathi cinema can fetch you box office returns of 50 crores and 80 crores and whatever, let's go outside that small pond of making Marathi films in 1.5, 2 crore, 3 crores. That's also a bold decision they have to take. Otherwise, there may be a good subject like my film, my second film, like Nagraj. I'm not in a great hurry to make my next film. I'm researching my subject because it's a beautiful story from literature, which I'm setting into an ancient Indian period. Now, my question to them is, okay, it's a Marathi film. Suppose I want to make it into Marathi. I can't make this period film in 3 crores. Now that you know there are returns, are you willing to take that risk with me, subject to the subject, my subject being viable, okay, and say, let's make this film in 12 crores and spend 3-4 crores on marketing and make a 15-20 crore project. So Marathi film industry can take a quantum leap and go in a different zone, which Telugu, Tamil are already into. Okay, they can make Bahubali there in Telugu cinema. So we need to go there. We need to take our Marathi cinema on a bigger platform now. Now this responsibility is also their own responsibility of the industry people, Marathi industry people, and now that you said other people are looking at, every time there's a wave, people from Hindi, other businesses, they look at Marathi cinema, chalo Marathi cinema banayenge.
Correct.
Now are they coming here to money? I have no problem with that. You're coming to make money. You're in business. Only when you think of making money that you will survive.
Correct.
You know, you can't say ye charity hai. We are not in the business of charity. Okay, so it's welcome to think of money, but don't come and say, you know, I want to set off my profits from some Hindi film, so I'll make something in 1.5, 2 crore, 3 crore, then doob gaya, I'll square off my profits. Okay, or for a tokenistic thing that, look, I also make a Marathi film. Because suddenly things shoot up in Mumbai that who's a Mumbaiker, what are you doing outsiders for Marathi or whatever. So you need some label to show non-Maharashtrians will make a film, say I made a Marathi film.
Correct.
But please don't come to Marathi cinema that's tokenism. Don't come to Marathi cinema only for this. Don't use Marathi cinema for this. Come and see and enjoy and relish the rich literature that we have, the talent pool that we had in Marathi cinema, and be a part of that journey.
Even technically.
And technically, right? Camera, of course. Which is fabulous. My Pitrurun cinematographer Mahesh did Swades for Ashu, and he is a national award winner. So we are doing fabulous work. The technicians are Maharashtrians, literature is from Marathi. So come and enjoy and be a part of that journey, because you are eventually an artist. Even if you become a producer of a Marathi film or any film, a producer is a creative producer. A producer should not be, ideally to me, a proposal maker. ये मैं 10 में बनाऊंगा, ये 12 में बेचूंगा, इतने का धंधा होगा, इतना. You can think of it, but you also need to think of yourself as a creative man.
Absolutely.
In the past, all these B.R. Chopras and Mehboob Khans and everybody here, they all Gurudar, they were also producers, but they were creative producers.
Absolutely.
So come to Marathi industry with this mindset.
That's a very interesting point of view. Finally, Nitish, you've also dabbled in politics as well, and you've not been too happy with how things work. Do you feel that you regret getting into politics?
No. I don't regret anything in my life, because some decisions in life work for you, some don't, for that given period of time. So I felt that politics, the kind of rise I should have had in politics as directly in comparison to what time I was putting in and the kind of talent I had as a politician, or the vision that I had as a politician, didn't happen for that period. So I don't believe in wasting time. I believe I'm a quick learner, but I'm a loyalist. So I gave almost 13 years to politics, but then I realized that it's not happening. Let me not waste time. But the good thing of politics is, or the political platform that gave me, is that it added a huge amount of experience to me as an Indian. Because of politics, I toured around this country entire length and breadth of this nation, and I today can say that I know what is Bharat. I'm not talking about India. I'm talking about what is Bharat.
Sure.
How does it breathe? How does it talk? How does it think? What does it eat? What is poverty? Dharavi Jhoppadpatti is no poverty. There are air conditions there. I'm not trying to ridicule poverty, or I'm not trying to belittle the poor people. Please don't misunderstand me. But today, if you go to Dharavi or many Jhoppadpattis, people have dish antennas and ACs and everything. So that's not poverty. Come to Jharkhand, where I was an MP from, and see how the tribals live. That's poverty. The lack of infrastructure. Miles and miles they would take their subsidies that they grow on their head and walk to Jamshedpur and sell that subsidy and walk back. Or there are two women in a household and they have one sari, one piece of cloth. They would wash that at night and wear it. The other woman wears it, lady wears it the next day. That kind of distress, that's poverty.
Sure.
So I've seen all that. I've seen their food, I've seen their literature, their culture. So that has enriched me as an individual. So I look at the half glass full when it comes to political life.
Absolutely.
And that's why it would not be, I'm sorry to interrupt you, that's why it wouldn't be proper to say I'm unhappy about politics. No, politics exposes you to the real country. And they expose me to the real country, and I'm thankful to them.
Great, but at the same time, you spoke about tokenism as far as Marathi cinema is concerned. But do you somewhere feel a bit hurt that the characters that you played generally, Krishna primarily, but even apart from that, you played on small screen and the bigger screen. Somewhere they were in a way used that to just lure people in just buying votes, or is gaining votes somewhere. Do you feel that the goodness of those characters, the virtues that they stood for, is something that shouldn't be tampered with? The purity of those thoughts should not be tampered with, and that is something which really binds India together. Do you feel that that entire tokenism is something which is not fair? Because Bhishma Pitama as well is there in politics, with Draupadi as well as there in politics as well. So a lot of characters.
So is Mr. Rahul Gandhi, so is Mrs. Sonia. Winning candidates with clean, good images that people can trust and vote them to power, win them the MLA seat or MP seat, because it's a game of numbers.
Sure.
In democracy today is a game of numbers. So if that is the argument that people with my kind of images shouldn't have been in politics, then all these people should also be in politics.
I'm not saying that. What I'm trying to say is that just using people because of the fact that they've had certain image in terms.
Exactly, I'm saying the same thing.
That they should be because apparently what I read about you was that you were quite disheartened with the fact that you didn't get a seat in 2004. I believe you didn't.
No. I withdrew. No.
Okay.
I have voluntarily withdrawn.
But even apart from that, the fact is that the goodness of those characters is something. Maybe it's something that people should believe in if they're standing for certain ideologies rather than merely just using people.
No, but I did. Even from my political platforms and my speeches, I used to talk sense. I used to talk from scriptural things, and I would explain things where we have gone wrong in politics, so much so that people in Bihar, my own party people, started saying that, Bhaiya, you have won this election by speaking the truth, you may lose it. I said, I don't care.
Correct.
I don't care, but I must tell people what is the fact according to our scriptures.
Correct.
And we have deviated in modern 60 years of politics.
That's what
yes,
yeah.
and that's what I do. That's what I do. I have been very vocal about the reservation policy for that matter. I spoke against it, or I am for a modified reservation policy. The way it is implemented today, based on caste, is not really taking us anywhere. It has to be economics oriented. People who are poor, there are poor people in all communities, all religions, all castes.
Correct.
So, what is the purpose of the secular government? To give equal opportunities to underprivileged class. I'm not talking about caste. Because for me, when I come from Vedic Sanskriti and that Vedic knowledge, there is nothing called caste. Jat naam ka shabd nahi hai. There is a class. Okay? Even Krishna says in Gita that I have created 4 classes. Chatur Varnyam Maya Srishtam. I have created 4 classes. On what basis? Guna Karma Vibhagasha. Based on your karma. Not on your janma. Otherwise, Maharshi Ved Vyas was born to a fisherwoman, couldn't have been a Yogeshwar. Couldn't have been a Brahmarshi, couldn't have been, or Vishwamitra who was born to a Kshatriya father, couldn't have been a Brahman. You understand? This migration of an individual, depending on what karma he chooses to perform as his lifelong calling, was allowed. A Kshatriya was allowed to be a Brahman, Brahman was allowed to be a Kshatriya or a Vaishya, or Shudra. The class Shudra was only a service-oriented class. It was not meant to be discriminated against. So I am completely against any of the so-called today's Savarnas discriminating against the Dalits and the downtrodden and the poor people. It is not correct. It's against humanity.
Absolutely.
But having said that, because a mistake has happened in the past, now are we going to repeat the same mistake?
Correct.
You can't build a future on the same mistake. So let's correct that mistake. Let us look at, there are economically backward classes, there are people who are underprivileged in all religions and all communities.
Correct.
And let the secular government provide all those facilities to those children, clearly telling them, अब ये सब फ्री में मिल रहा है, 10th standard तक मिलेगा. So you better grow and enhance your merit. Unless Bharat becomes merit-oriented society, talk about merit and glory is only in the history.
Absolutely. That's what happens in US as well in terms of
Everywhere.
free till the high school. And
Yes. Everywhere that is happening. I mean, there were policies being made in the past government where there are no examinations. And all of a sudden, 9th standard there are examinations, children didn't know what is an exam, the pressure of exam, they don't fare well, they commit suicide. I mean, no, you have to think of rational policies and radical policies if you want to move ahead in leaps and bounds. Because we've wasted 60 years, 65 years of, I don't know doing what, all sorts of wrong policies. Tokenism and dividing, caste has only divided this country. Let's come to class game. You're a media person, you're in business, you're a Vaishya. I'm in business, I'm a Vaishya. I may be born to whoever. If I'm in search of Brahma, which is the Vedic name of God, if I'm in search of Brahma, I'm a Brahman. Otherwise I'm not a Brahman. I'm in business, I'm a Vaishya, I'm happy. Let's be spiritual rather than religion. Let's follow the dharma concept, which is explained by Adi Shankaracharya or Vivekananda, Krishna Paramahans, or for that matter Muhammad Paigambar Sahib. In the Muslim literature, it is said that a true Musliman is that Musliman whose neighbor is not scared to be his neighbor.
क्या बात?
Let's become true Muslimans. Let's become true Hindus. Let's follow the dharma.
क्या बात?
Let's follow the dharma and not the religion. Let's follow the class and not the caste. Caste is only created clashes, and it pains me because we are all human beings. Let's be equal to human beings.
No, absolutely. I think fabulous conversation with Nitish Bharadwaj. I was not expecting this actually. I thought that it's the dialogues of Rahim Masud Raza, but he's totally seeped it inside brilliantly actually.
Well, as a Brahmin, the only vice I have is to constantly read and research. So my research varies on subjects.
You have a fabulous, I think, in fact, reading, and at the same time, पढ़ तो बहुत से लोग लेते हैं, लेकिन आप उसमें से क्या उसमें आप जिसको कहते हैं कि हाउ जूस क्या निकाला आपने उसमें से, आपने क्या आपने उसको अपने अंदर आपने क्या उतारा है, how you interpreted yourself. So that's the most important thing.
See, philosophy is meant to be practiced, isn't it? If you don't practice philosophy, it's just another book on my shelf.
That's true.
So practice it, assimilate it, understand it in the modern context. How is this relevant to today's life? And how can I enhance my own life, my family's life, my society's life, my country's life, and practice it?
Absolutely.
Only then there is value addition of that knowledge, isn't it?
Absolutely. So Nitish ji, wonderful having you on Bollywood Hungama, and thank you for I think the wonderful things that you've shared with us today. And looking forward to Mohenjo Daro and all your future ventures. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all we have from Bollywood Hungama. Keep on watching.